Okay.
Hello, hello. We are live for Disneyland Paris recap with the Dollingers on a Monday night. So if you are watching this, go ahead and tell us, what Disney parks have you been to? What Disney parks have you been to? As we make sure that everyone can see this and it is all shared out. My name is Lindsay Dollinger. I am the podcast host of the Purpose and Pixie Dust podcast. I also am a women's business coach. That's kind of part of the Purpose and Pixie Dust podcast. And I have a women's entrepreneur membership that is magically themed, the magical membership for women entrepreneurs. So that's a little bit about me. And Courtnay.
Yep, I am Courtnay Dollinger, Lindsay's little sister, and I have Bella Bling Shop, where I make clothes and jewelry. And then I just released my first coloring book that's run like a princess, and you can find that on Amazon. Yeah.
Love it. And you're also on Etsy, right?
Yes, I'm also on Etsy. It's harder to find because my name is spelled weird, but it's Bella Bling by Courtnay with an A, Courtnay.
Yeah,
So
we both have the AY ending.
Thanks, parents, for that one.
Yep. Yeah, so we got to go to Disneyland Paris on Friday, June 9th, as part of a tour that we were doing in Europe with students. It was definitely a bucket list item for sure. And I was pleasantly surprised. What about you, Court? What were your initial thoughts?
I thought for sure there was no way it was going to be as good as like Disney World. Like I thought I was going to be disappointed, but I thought it was really fantastic and unique and interesting. So even like the rides that were like similar at the two places, I still thought that like Disneyland Paris did it in its own way, and it was cool for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we were there from park open to park close. So we got there at like 8:45-ish. The park opened at 9 or 9:30. But we had, our tour director had to wait in line to get our tickets swapped out because they had the wrong date on them, which is a story for another day. But then we were able to go in, and it was fine, even though we were like walking in a few minutes after quote unquote rope drop.
Yeah.
And what was the first ride we rode, Court?
Peter Pan. Was it Peter Pan?
Oh no, Snow White.
Snow White, because we don't have that in
Disney wanted World. To make sure to ride the ones that we don't have at Walt Disney World in Florida. So we rode, my ears are crooked. There we go. We rode Snow White very first, and that was like right once you went through the castle, which
it was fantastic.
What was your thoughts of the castle?
I love the castle. I think we went back through it like 5 times, like back and forth, and like the stained glass in that castle was phenomenal. Like it had the like 3 fairies from Sleeping Beauty, and it was just like stunning inside.
I loved that you could go up in it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so like how ours Disney World has like the murals, they did that with stained glass, and that was neat. And they also had like different like storybook texts and like textiles that told different stories. So it was just all about like fairy tales inside, which was sort of magical. I liked it.
Yeah, and you could go out on a balcony back behind the castle. So we stood up there and our dad went down and like took pictures of us, which was really fun. Cool. So there's not a restaurant inside, but there was a dungeon, but the dungeon was sadly closed. So we'll have to go back because we did not get to see the dragon in the dungeon.
Right. We definitely will. What was your favorite ride? Okay, just talk rides for a second because
so
rides.
Yeah, I don't know that I have like a favorite, but I definitely had some that I like really, really loved. I thought the Haunted Mansion, which they call it Phantom Manor there, was like a whole nother level.
It was really well done, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was well done. And I could see kids actually getting scared in it. Like I feel like the one at Walt Disney World was like fun, scary.
No, you would have had kids crying. Like kids cry at like Animal Kingdom when like the ant comes out and like they have the ants things. Like American kids totally would have cried. And
I thought it was really fun. So I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
I also really liked the Small World, which I know we talked about, but the part like you can go outside in Small World,
My
which I
favorite.
think they do that at Disneyland California as well. I've only been to Disneyland California once.
Mhm.
But I really liked that. I really liked the rides that we don't have. So like the Snow White ride I thought was really cute. The Pinocchio
Mhm.
ride I thought was really cute as well. Um, I did not love the Indiana Jones ride for sure. That would be on my one of my least favorite. That's the one that like felt like our ears were bleeding
Oh
because
yeah, like it
it
slammed your ears. Like I'm really glad I took my earrings out right beforehand because
yeah. And it goes on your head, but it's like a short roller coaster, so it was
like
really
a
funny.
teeny tiny loop. It's
Mhm. It
it's like
was
it doesn't have enough inertia to like make it
you like
happen. So you just
slowly go around.
ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
What
rough.
about okay, so what about you? What were your favorite rides?
Obviously Small World. Like Small World is my favorite ride in general. So like
Mhm.
seeing it there and especially seeing like the American section with like the cowboys and Indians and like
Oh, yeah,
um
that was fun.
and what do they have? Like Broadway shows or something, like some sort of show that
Mhm.
they had. That was cool.
Like
And
Hollywood. They had, like, Hollywood depicted.
I really liked the Alice in Wonderland maze. Like
Oh, that was fun.
that
Yeah.
was so much fun. And the boats in the back that we did where you could see like the little castles.
The storybook boats were fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So,
Um,
explain what that is for people who haven't been there.
so the Alice in Wonderland maze is just like the maze from Alice in Wonderland. And like you genuinely get lost in it. Like you think it looks like you're gonna go one way and then you turn the other way and it's like, oh, I was going the right way to begin with. And it took us all the way up to like the Queen of Hearts castle, and you could like go up in it, but it was really crowded, but a good photo location. And
Mhm.
along the way, it had different stops that like alluded to or were things from like the Mad Hatter and Tea Party and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was neat. And then the storybook boats had little like castles from all of the different stories. So you went around in a boat, sort of like how the boat rides typically go, but it was outside and you could see everyone's castle and in like incredible detail. So it was almost like how people have fairy gardens now, like, and
Mm.
that's a thing, except
Yeah.
it was outside and it had like all of the castles.
It was like a
So
perfect relaxing because we did it toward the end of the day,
yeah,
like, get off your feet, and we were on it extra long because some guy in a boat wouldn't sit down. And so they kept, like, yelling at him in French over the thing so they wouldn't move the boats, which was kinda funny. So we
yeah.
get to really enjoy the miniature castles.
We got some good pictures of the castle
Yeah,
and
I
it
thought
was
it was
cool to see
fun.
them to scale, you know?
Yeah, that they had, like, Hansel and Gretel. Um, what are some
Yeah.
of the odd like, the odder like, the not mainstream ones that they
They
had? Do
had
you
other
remember?
like Mother Goose fairy tales that I can't think. It was one of the last ones that we saw that was
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
pretty
oh,
cool.
they that's
But
not
Little
usually
Mermaid's
the thing.
grotto, loved it. Like, the castle,
Yeah,
like, on the sea,
right?
that was
It was
so good.
magnificent. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then so I guess I should have explained, there's 2 parks at Disneyland Paris, so we actually did both of them in one day. I think you could, without rushing, spend 2 days in Disneyland Paris and be completely fine. And so we went over to Walt Disney Studios in the afternoon, and myself and the other teacher that we were with, Kendall, went and rode Remy's, which was the same as the one in Walt Disney World, Florida, except with less of the smells and less of some of the techniques. So I don't know if they were like not working or they just enhanced the one in Florida. So the one in Florida
Mhm.
is definitely better. While Courtney and Dad rode Crush's coaster. So tell
Yeah.
them what that is.
So Crush's coaster is like the one thing that everyone is like, don't miss it. It's fantastic. And it's supposed to be like Crush taking you through the sea and finding Nemo. And I was freaking out because I've read all of the blogs and all the reviews, and like I've seen like a lot of people say that like if they're plus size, they can't fit in the ride, and then evidently the Parisians like shame them and like boo them as they get off. And I was just like, oh my
Wow.
god, this is gonna happen to me. Um, but like I fit fine. I don't. I was worrying for no reason. I would say it was like snug on like my hips, so that might be like what caused women in particular to have issues. Is like It's very tight on your hips, but it's built a lot like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Epcot. And that is Epcot, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And it sort of like swings you around a lot. But honestly, I was sort of disappointed by it because I thought it would have more of like the cool effects like Guardians of the Galaxy ride. And it didn't. It was sort of like dark coaster with an occasional like spotlight from the movie. And yeah, so I wasn't that thrilled about it. And I actually sort of felt sick afterwards. But I checked it off the list because everyone says you have to do it.
Yeah.
And the ride line was like
Almost
inaccurate
2
with what they
hours.
predicted.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was almost 2
But
hours that you guys waited. So we shopped and chilled
yeah.
out while you guys were in line. I don't think we rode anything else over there, really. So it's a very small park. They had Tower of Terror, the Guardians of the Gal, like their version of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It was stuff that we had in Florida, so we were like, we want to go back
Right.
to make sure that we hit everything over at the actual Disneyland Paris park.
Right.
And then food. What did you think of the food?
So that was, you had booked Waltz for dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did we do for lunch?
Hakuna Matata.
Oh, okay. I don't see, like, this is why we have to do things immediately. Jargle my memory. Like,
So
what?
clearly did not make an impact on Courtney.
It clearly did not.
It was an African like fast food place over by the Swiss Family Robinson tree. And I guess I say fast food, but quick service. And we got like wraps. I forget what was on them, like chicken wraps. It was like some sort of chicken and different sauces. And then because we had meal vouchers for through our company, so then we also got like a little like Magnum ice cream bar and like a soft drink.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it was fine. Yeah, and then dinner we did Waltz, which is like the restaurant. It's named after obviously Walt Disney. I thought it was really cool. It's right on Main Street. We were up on the second floor eating. We
It's a
caught
good
it.
location.
We timed it perfectly.
Yeah, you did.
Like dinner dinner was at 6, I think, and the parade came through at 5:45. So literally the parade ended at like 6:03 and we walked right in. Like we were standing outside Waltz and watched it. Which the parade is a little bit different than
It
the
was.
Walt Disney World one, which I thought was really cool. So I'm glad we got to catch both because I was worried that we were going to miss the parade to have to go to Waltz. Food at Waltz, it's like white tablecloth, fancy. I think I got a chicken pot pie. Is that correct? Or did
Yeah.
you get that? I don't remember what everyone got now.
I don't know. I'd have to look at my pictures.
I know.
I remember thinking that the food was like really good, but I was so hot and tired from the day. Like, and I think
It was hot. It gets hot and humid, like Florida, hot and humid.
right.
So,
and their drinking fountains weren't working. So that was it. Was just trying to drink enough water throughout the day, I think, to like stay hydrated and focused and stuff. And
yeah, but they bring you like bread service. And then it's the menu. It's like a traditional French menu where you got a starter, a main course, and then dessert, which we ended up, I got the 30th because it's their 30th anniversary, hence why Courtney has the 30 on her ears.
There we go.
And so we got like little 30th cakes. Yours was really good.
Yeah. What did I get?
It had like ice cream.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's what I just remember I had ice cream and a lot of chocolate.
I think it was just like a dark chocolate, like cakey cookie thing with ice cream on it. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was like a cookie with ice cream on top.
Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah. If you like,
that's what we did for food. I don't think we did snacks, really, did we?
I got popcorn, but that's because I wanted the popcorn bucket. Which is evidently not as big of a thing over there as it is here because they had tons of amazing popcorn buckets and like only a few people were getting them, but they have a sweet and salty option for popcorn. So you can choose like if you want basically like kettle corn or regular popcorn, or you can like talk them into mixing it.
Which is what you
together,
did, right?
which is what I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just told them that I don't know what is the best, make it
Yeah.
happen, and she did. So it was really good. Yeah.
And we did a lot of shopping. So hence,
Yeah.
we both have our Disneyland Paris ears on. I don't know if this
Those
side.
ones are really cute. I'm glad you got them.
Yeah, I didn't see
Yeah.
them. I saw them in one store. They're frozen ears.
Yeah.
And I have, it's hard to see, but right there it says Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And then you got the 30th ones.
I got the 30th ones, Chip and Dale. How cute are those?
So
And
cute.
they had these in a lot of places, I think, but
And we went
they
while
missed.
my bag was still missing. So I was like, well, I need clothes and things. So I bought a
And you put
Disneyland
receipts
Paris.
for ears on that?
No, ears I couldn't write off, but
Mm,
I
God.
got a raincoat from Disneyland Paris. I got
Really
pajamas from
cute.
Disneyland Paris. I got a towel. I got a
Got all
couple
the merch.
shirts. Yeah, I got all the merch.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
A tank top. And it was so funny because we met up with another part of our group that ended up touring the second half of our trip with us. A couple of days later when I was wearing some of the clothes, and the one woman was like, I couldn't tell if you were like actually like a huge Disney fan or like you had to buy that because you didn't have clothes. And I was like, well, both. Like it just
Right.
it worked out that we were there.
Which
We got
they
some
were
face
troopers.
masks.
They went like and did it
Yeah.
one evening. They just did Disneyland Paris in an evening. It was crazy.
So what she's talking about is the people who met up with us later arrived in Paris, did our tour of Paris that day, and then when we went back to the hotel, because our hotel, the second half of our Paris trip, was 15 minutes from Disneyland by Uber. So they left the hotel at like 7:30, went and bought a ticket for Disneyland Paris, closed it out at 10:30, 11, and then came back.
They
On
did
the
like
day that they
10
traveled.
rides in that amount of time. Like
Yeah.
they did a lot. It was impressive.
Well, what did you think of the lines? Because I didn't think the lines were bad.
Yeah, I didn't think the lines were bad. Other than the like Crushes coaster line,
Yeah.
which I thought was not, it wasn't worth it for that. But like all the other lines were fantastic, I thought. Like,
Well, and looking back, you guys probably should have just bought the fast pass, like the
we had
premier pass.
talked about it and then we just didn't do it in enough time.
Yeah.
We did fast pass one of them, didn't we?
Peter Pan at the end.
Yeah.
Because we
Just because
decided
we
we
wanted
wanted to
to
try
get it.
Peter Pan.
And it was
I'm
different.
glad we did. Yeah, it was cool.
It was
It was
different.
nice.
I'm glad we did.
And it had been refreshed. So like it was painted, whereas our one at Disney World, I feel like is getting a little bit needs to be retouched.
They said it had just reopened like in the past few weeks, right? Because it had gone through painting. I think so.
Small World. I think Small World had just
Oh,
reopened.
maybe that was it. Yeah.
And Pirates was closed. Pirates
Yeah.
was closed. So I was bummed that we missed
Bummer.
Pirates. I heard that one was a cool one. If you're listening and you have any questions about Disneyland Paris, drop them in the comments. We'll make sure we answer them. We're trying to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Talk about the nighttime show. There was 2 of them. They were really cool.
The drone show, hello, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like,
It was awesome.
it was so cool. And like, it just like extended the possibilities, I think, now that they're using drones for that, which was cool.
So tell them what the drone show was.
I mean, it's just synchronized, coordinated drones that go above the castle, and they make like a Mickey Mouse shape and a 30th. They did like the 30th above the castle, and
Cool.
And so it's basically like turning the night sky into sort of a projector with drones.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And just like typical Disney, I mean, they did it fantastically. So,
so they do that 10 minutes before,
10, yeah,
before the second show of the evening, which was more projections than fireworks. I was calling it fireworks, but I was a little disappointed in the lack of fireworks.
Yeah.
But the projections were cool, and it was definitely different. And it was cool to hear a lot of the stuff in French too.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I know I should have expected that, but like hearing, and I liked how they like throughout that and the parades, they sort of like skillfully incorporated French-based Disney stuff. So like Lady and the Tramp, and like eating the Italian pasta. They had like a restaurant that was named like similar to that, or they had stuff going on like that, or um, they did like Beauty and the Beast, and they had like the song After All This Is France, and they
Yeah,
had
that was
that.
fun.
They had
Mhm.
that during the parade, which it was
Mhm.
Donald's birthday, which was cool too.
Yeah, I
And they
don't
were
think that
there.
was actually a parade. I don't know what they called that, but that was like one of their
Yeah,
shows for the 30th. Yeah,
yeah,
but
like
we were there for
a
Donald
half
Duck's
show.
birthday, and that was really fun how
Yeah,
they did that. They did it around like the circle in front of the castle and like
they like rotated
yeah,
the
yeah, and
character.
like the characters would come down off the floats and like sing and dance, and then like they would almost swap out, and then like
Hmm.
the little parade cars they were on would move slowly. It was very interesting, and it was a
It
lot
was
longer
cool.
than I thought because we were like, "We're gonna go check it out for, like, 5 minutes," and then, like, 20 minutes later, we were still there
Kept
watching it.
going on, and they were
Mhm.
loving it. Like everyone
It
was
was
really
good.
having a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good performance.
And they had some different characters out than what we normally
Mhm.
see at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Like they had some characters from like Coco and
Miguel with his guitar.
Miguel,
Yeah.
yeah, with his guitar, and yeah, they had some neat stuff. So
Yeah, it was definitely I mean, we weren't bored the entire day, like, there was always something to do, and we didn't get to go on, like, Space Mountain, I heard was a really good
yeah,
one, Big Thunder was closed when we were back in that area. It had, like, broke down or something, but I heard that that one is, like, the biggest one that they have, so it's really cool. Um,
I think we did it well in the fact that we knew like specific ones that we really wanted to try to hit, and
mhm,
we made sure that those were non-negotiables. And then
yeah.
so we hit the like ones that we were really focused on, which was good.
Yeah, we probably coulda hit a couple more because we got done, like,
We were
probably
just
an
really
hour
tired.
before we were
Yeah,
tired
jet
because we had
lag.
also been to Paris or to London for 2 days, had done Paris the day before,
Hmm.
you know, all the things, and then we took the train. We actually took the RER from downtown Paris to Disneyland and back, um, which only ended up being like a half an hour. It was a really great way for transportation and super easy too.
Yeah, it was really
Um,
easy.
yeah, so that's what I would say is it's super easy to travel to Disneyland Paris if you don't wanna stay at one of their hotels. Um,
But if you
Uber is
do stay
also
in one of their
fairly easy
hotels,
to use.
like their one hotel is like right there. So
All of them are right there. They're
yeah,
all
that
yeah,
would be so cool.
yeah, they're all right there. Before we
Like
hop
20
off,
yards from the gate.
talk about Disney Springs. What did you think of Disney Springs?
Um, I was honestly disappointed about
Not
Disney
Disney Springs,
Springs.
Disney Village. They call it
Right,
Disney
yeah,
Village
it's
now.
like their version of Disney Springs.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that big yet. I think it will probably expand as time goes on, but
Mhm.
um their shops were really like cutely themed, I thought.
Yeah, the
Um
theme was really good.
the decorations were really cute. But there were just like what, like four shops that were possible to go into really.
Mhm.
And then they had a couple of like donut shops or something like that, like something along those lines, and like a creperie, and that was
They had a
it.
couple restaurants. We weren't there at
Yeah,
food time, like a sports bar type thing, because they were
yeah,
showing a soccer game outside, and then a movie theater, a Starbucks. We did get our Starbucks mugs,
yeah. I like my Starbucks mug. That's
our
true.
Disneyland Starbucks mugs.
Um, I was surprised that they didn't do like pin trading there. I feel like that's a big thing in our Disney Springs, and they didn't have that. That you could buy pins, but I literally didn't see any pin trading the
Yeah.
whole day. Like I came prepared, and I was like, yeah,
I even asked, and someone just kinda looked at her.
yeah.
Most most everyone spoke English
Hmm.
enough anyway, because we don't
Everyone
speak
was
French.
so nice. Like I know people always say like that French people can be challenging if you don't like speak French, but everyone was so fantastic there and like helpful, and
Mhm.
they were just really great.
Yeah.
Uh, they had excellent style as well, like from like their way that they dress their characters to like the cast members' costumes, like
Mhm.
everything was really, it was different from what we have in ours for stuff, and it was still really cool and
Yeah,
unique.
the theming was really fun.
Yeah.
I would have loved if they would have had more themed merch.
Yeah,
Like, because a lot of what they had is the same that they have in the France
right.
Pavilion at Epcot, which is not that much, not a ton. And like I said, these were the only 2 years that were just Disneyland Paris years that were there when we were there.
And I thought their prices were like better than what things were in Walt Disney World for stuff. Like, I think these ears were cheaper, which I guess if you factor in the conversion factor, it might not have been that big. But
Yeah.
like their pins were really cheap in comparison to what they are at Walt Disney
Mhm.
World. And like I bought like a really cute dog bowl for Bella for 12 euros, and like it's adorable, but I don't
You
think you
lugged
would have
that all
gotten
the way
that.
home.
I did. It was adorable. It says princess and then it has Disneyland Paris on it. So,
It's cute.
you know,
She's spoiled. I don't know where she's at.
she is spoiled. She's not with me. She's
Yeah,
on
I
your.
know. Yeah, she's over here somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, so top tip for someone who wants to go to Disneyland Paris, go.
Oh. Um, I would say to make sure that you have like do your research and know exactly like what you want to hit, and I guess how it's different from places you've been before.
Mhm.
Um, because like when we were on the RER coming in, like everyone was going to Disneyland Paris and no one around us knew anything about what they were doing.
Yeah,
So
they were all asking me, and I was like, "I've not been here before. I just
he
looked it
was
up
like,
online."
we don't speak French. Like, I don't know. And like, evidently Lindsay's research outdid the whole tram cars research. So I would say do your research and know what you want, or have a sister with you that does all of that.
That does it for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my biggest tip would be to get the app, and it's the same thing for Walt Disney World, like, get the
Mhm.
app. I played around with it, leading up to the trip to, like, look what it looks like for wait times, and I kinda looked at the map a little bit. Um, that's how I booked Walt's for our dinner reservations, and I could never really find the answer because at Disney World, they have rules about when you can cancel them, and then if you don't, you get charged. I didn't have to put a credit card in to book it at Disneyland Paris, so
Would you say that their app was a little like less um like less menus and a little more easy to navigate, or do you think it was
no, I actually thought the app was kinda clunky, like, I would get to a place and I couldn't go back on the Disneyland Paris one, so I would have to, like, close it and then, like, kinda restart what I was doing. Um, I also didn't like that so for their tickets, you can buy almost like old-fashioned tickets, like what we could do at Walt Disney World, where you could, like, buy them when you get there sort of deal. So our tour company had bought ours, but if the ticket wasn't linked to your account, then you couldn't buy the premier passes and stuff like that,
in advance?
um, in
Yeah.
advance. Yeah, so that's what we ran into, so we had to, like, sit there and link our tickets when we finally decided that we wanted to buy the premier pass for Peter Pan. Um, so I mean, there were just some steps that were just different.
Right.
I don't know if that like, if I would have been used to that app versus the Disney World app, that it would have been, like, a thing, but, sometimes I was like, "Oh, I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get back to the map." So I'd have to, like, close it and, like, restart it. But definitely get
Yeah.
the app.
I was surprised by how big it was. Like their Main
Mhm,
Street USA versus like Disney World's Main Street USA. It was very similar and
mhm.
um
Yeah, I
like
was expecting it to be
well
a lot
planned
smaller.
out. Yeah, I thought
Mhm.
it was going to be teeny tiny, and we definitely got our step count in that day. And
Yeah, and we didn't even go to Tomorrowland. Like, I have no idea what that even looks like. We didn't even go over there.
yeah, we didn't hit some of it, but
There was a whole, like, quadrant
next
on
time.
the side, which we don't love that at Disney World either, like, we don't that's not our favorite at Magic Kingdom, so we were like, "Eh, with the
Yeah,
amount of time that we have, we're gonna hit the ones that we know that we really like."
yeah, yeah.
Alright, any last thought that you wanna leave everyone with before we hop off?
Mm, um, you first. Do you have a last thought? You first. I
That's
don't
not
know.
how this goes, that's not how this
That's how it's
goes, I ask
going.
you. Um, I think my last thought is just that I want to hit all the Disney parks, so this was just another one to check off, and stay tuned. for future years when we are able to go to the other ones and really be able to like compare everything. So I think the order of my favorite would obviously be Walt Disney World, then Disneyland Paris, and then Disneyland California. I know it's the original, but I really liked Paris.
There's some nostalgia to Disneyland California. I get that. And they do some like unique stuff. I think it's different if you live close to Disneyland in California, like, and can go to it frequently and do that kind of stuff. But I think I agree with that. I would just say my last thought is if you get the opportunity, like, don't hesitate, just go for it and do it. Whether it's for a day or 2 hours or a few days, like, make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Yep.
All right, friends, if you want to talk more Disneyland Paris or anything Disney related, you guys know where you can find me. I'm at the Purpose and Pixie Dust. She is at bellablingshop.com. Her dress is that dress on the shop?
Yes, it is.
That's the one you wore to Disneyland Paris, right?
It is. It's my Disneyland Paris dress. I made
Love
it, if you can see,
Rapunzel.
themed.
Yes.
It has pockets. I would highly recommend pockets when you go to Disney. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pockets and all the things.
Yeah. And the Parisians loved it. So that was a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, friends, go out there and create and own your magic. We'll talk.